नमस्कार, MH1 प्राइम आप देख रहे हैं। मैं हूं आपके साथ परमीत कौर वालिया। आज बहुत ही खास और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक के साथ हम यहां पर पेश हुए हैं। आपको बता दें, आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं स्ट्रेस की। किन कारणों की वजह से हम आजकल इतने तनाव में रहते हैं, क्योंकि जिस तरह से हमारी भागदौड़ भरी ज़िंदगी है, जिस तरह से हमारा खान पान है, लाइफस्टाइल है, आजकल हर किसी न किसी शख्स को तनाव है, स्ट्रेस में हर कोई शख्स जो है वो रहता है। तो क्या रीजंस है, क्यों हम लोग इतने स्ट्रेस में रहते हैं, क्या रीज़न है हम स्ट्रेस को मैनेज नहीं कर पाते, विल पावर क्यों हमारी इतनी जो है वो वीक होती जा रही है। तो इस टॉपिक के साथ आज हम शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। मरियला ज़ेनोलेटी हमें ज्वाइन कर चुकी हैं। हाय मरियला।
Hi Parmeet, how are you?
वेरी गुड। सो मरियला से आज हम जानेंगे, मरियला हमें बताएंगी कि स्ट्रेस का रीज़न क्या है, स्ट्रेस होता क्या है, क्यों हम स्ट्रेस को इतना जो है वो लेते हैं, हमारी जिस तरह की लाइफस्टाइल है, क्या हम स्ट्रेस को मैनेज कर सकते हैं। तो आज पूरा टॉपिक जो है वो स्ट्रेस रहने वाला है, तनाव का क्या कारण है। आप हमारे साथ बने रहिए। मरियला, माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट इज स्ट्रेस। स्ट्रेस होता क्या है, क्यों हम लोग स्ट्रेस को इतना लेते हैं, व्हाट इज स्ट्रेस?
Yes. Let's pretend you're driving, okay? You're driving, you're going dire. Suddenly there is traffic. There is traffic, you look at the time and you realize you're late. Then what is going to happen? You get anxious, so your heart starts beating faster. You're breathing quicker and your muscles tensen up. This is because there is a part in our brain called hypothalamus who's going to send out a sign, an input, so that our brain is going to produce the stress hormones. And this is very useful. It was actually is there to protect ourselves in situation where there is a threat, where there is a risk for our life. So that is good and is there to protect ourselves. The problem is when we use that too much. So when that stress signal, the hormones, is released too much, that's when we'll face problems in our mental health and physical health.
Okay. So Mariella, what are the signs of stress?
Yes, as we were saying, it's important to have this, instinct, the flight or fight, but only in situation when it's required and not for long time. So if we are in that place for longer, we can become more irritable. Like as you see now during the pandemic, people are, they tend to react quicker, yes, and there is more anxiety around. Anxiety because we don't know what is going to happen in the future, we don't know where we're going to meet our friends, we don't know if we're going back to school, we don't know about the financial situation. So all this can create anxiety. And then of course depression. I have some of my older clients who have not gone out for 6 months. And that of course brings in some feeling of loneliness or feeling low that can lead to depression. Headaches. So many people are having headaches, including me. I don't know about you, Parmeet, but I've heard many people. And problem with sleeping. This is a very, very common. Of course, now we are all in a situation where there is a big stress all around us. But stress is not only around when there are situations so dramatic like the one we are in now.
So, do we all experience stress in the same way?
Yeah, no, we don't. I mean, the intensity of the level is different. So basically, situation out there are more or less the same for everyone in life, especially right now. A lot of us are experiencing the same situations, but our reaction is different. Not all of us are having stress in the same measure. That means there is not just the situation out there, is our reaction. How do we react? How do we approach the situation? And that can have an impact on the level of stress.
Mariella, कारण क्या हो सकते हैं स्ट्रेस के? What are the causes of stress?
The situation which causes stress are called stressors. and we can have external stressors, like, as I said, situation which can happen in our life, and this can be positive and negative. So the negative ones are, usually people think only of the negative ones. The negative ones are somebody die, or you have a financial loss, or you lose your job. These are negative situations. But the interesting bit is that we have stress even in positive situations. Getting married, for instance, can create stress. Having a baby, going on holiday. So many people take stress also for positive situations. And these are the external causes. The internal one is how we function. If we are negative, if we have a negative outlook in life, that of course is gonna create stress, not just for the situation happening outside, but also how we internalize the situation. Also, if we are pessimistic, that is again something that is not going to help us. If we worry too much, that means that we even imagine the things which are not even happening now, but they will happen in the future, can cause some harm to us. So as you can see, stressors can be even, outside, from the outside situation, but internal situation as well.
Okay, so stress can be positive? क्या stress positive हो सकता है? जैसे negative तो होता है, but stress can be positive?
Yes, it can be positive if the level is not too much. Okay. If you feel stressed because you have an interview, maybe you prepare more. Then the outcome is good or is better. Or if you are, I don't know, insecure about something, that little stress pushes you, and that's good. The problem is when it's there for too long and the intensity is too much. But there is a good news in all this, yes, is that it's not just the situation, as we said. It's not just what is happening outside, it's our reaction. That means that there are things we can do. We are the one in charge. We can do something. We can react differently so that the stress is going to impact our life less.
So how does stress affect our body?
Yes. So as we were saying before, lots of things in terms of our physical health. So it's mental health, but also physical health. Yes, the physical health, it can be, I'm sure you know lots of people taking that medicine for high blood pressure. Yes. But if people would do something to reduce that level of stress, maybe that will not even be required. Or sometimes for the, conceiving. People want to have babies. Too much stress gets in the way of that. Our immune system, if we are constantly on stress, it's always responding to the stressful external stimulation and then become weaker, especially during this time of pandemic where our immune system needs to be strong. We need to do something for our stress. Yes, what else? Oh yes, stomach problems, digestion. Lots of people have problem with digestion. So everything which is related to our health, of course, mental health and emotional health, physical health, they're all connected. So we need to take care and have everything in balance.
So what are the good practices to manage stress?
Good question. Parmeet, you have interviewed me for a few times. We have done few episodes together. I'm sure by now you know what are the good practices. Don't you? The good practices to have a better and to increase our level of well-being.
Exactly.
So maybe you want to answer.
Okay. So good practices to manage stress is exercise, yoga, good music, good thoughts. So I think food, cooking.
Yeah.
I think these are the
healthy food and exercise, as you said. Yeah, the positive attitude. Yes.
Watching your favorite show, favorite movies. I think these are the good practices to manage stress. So basically होता क्या है कि हमें ये पता है कि stress को manage करना है, but हमें ये नहीं पता कि उसको कैसे manage करना है. How can we do it? हम कैसे करते हैं और क्यों नहीं करते? राइट Mariella?
Yes.
So Mariella हमें बताएंगी कि स्ट्रेस को हमें किस तरह से जो है वो मैनेज करना चाहिए, किस तरह से हमें उसे कम करना चाहिए. जी Mariella.
Yeah, the interesting question is, why don't we do it? We all want, we do it for 2-3 days, and then we go back and we become that person who again is frustrated because I know the practice, I know the theory, but I'm not doing anything. So there are some interesting research showing that it's like we have one brain but two minds, meaning one part who wants to do something, who wants to, let's say, maybe having an ice cream, and the other part who wants to be healthier and, I don't know, fitter or more productive. So it's like having two parts, and depending on the level of stress, we will be, one part will be the one determine our behavior, what we're going to do. So basically, if we can be more connected to the other part, meaning the future self, the self who's going to pay consequences if we eat the ice cream, if we lazy around the whole day, if we are connected to that part, and we see that part, meaning our future self, as ourself, we will be less prone to give up when we start new habits. So the idea is, I want to be connected to that part. That part is still you. One of my clients, she was telling me the other day, oh, I know that I need to exercise, I need to eat healthy, I need to, what does she want to do? Oh, she doesn't want to procrastinate. So she has a long list, and she says, yes, but I do that for 2-3 days, but then I become my real self again, and I'm just on the couch watching Netflix and eating ice cream. You see, she says, my real self. But the idea is not that your real self is the one who wants to have immediate gratification, who wants to have the ice cream, who wants to lie down on the couch. Your self is also the one which in the future will pay the consequences of your behavior. So this bit, I think it's very interesting, and if we keep in mind that future self, of course, in order to do that, we need to do some practices, the practice that we have just shared, in order to manage, but it's just the beginning. It's the beginning that is the difficult bit. The beginning, when you, let's say you want to go to the gym, the willpower you need to push yourself to go to the gym, it's minimal. If you compare it to the willpower that you develop when you have finished your session. So you see, it's just the beginning, it's just the start, and keeping in mind your future self. With some of my clients, I ask them to write a letter to their future self, congratulating for whatever they have achieved in the future, pretending like they are already in the future. So you are positioning yourself maybe 2-3 months ahead. You visualize that you are there, you have already achieved, and that can help you to be in touch with this future self, but also imagining that you have already reached there. So at fantasy level, you have already done something. That means that 50% of the job has been done.
Mariella, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, डेली का लाइफस्टाइल है मेरा ऐसा, जैसे हम लोग वर्किंग हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ों को मैं मैनेज नहीं कर पाती हूँ. सो फिर गिल्ट हो जाता है कि क्यों मैंने वो चीज़ मैनेज नहीं की, फिर स्ट्रेस होता है. सो व्हाट डू वी डू विद द सेंस ऑफ गिल्ट?
Yes, sense of guilt is, it's very much present, huh? Not just, anyways, we all face that, huh? And people believe that if you feel guilty and you beat yourself up, you're going to do better in the future. Meaning, I've done something wrong, I'm going to beat myself up, I'm going to maybe insult myself, I'm going to have a very negative dialogue about myself, so I will do better in the future. But it's actually not true. Not true. They've done several studies in Stanford University. I always share this with my clients, where they had people who were on a diet. They wanted to lose weight, group of people, and they tell them, oh, now you have to eat a donut and have a glass of water. Actually, not just one, I don't know how many, but they had to eat a number of donuts, and they felt very full after that. Of course, they're all on a diet and they are feeling very guilty. You're on a diet, you want to lose weight,
Right.
and you eat, and then you drink water, you feel very full. They were feeling guilty. So then, randomly, to some people, they gave messages, okay, secret messages, saying, don't worry, this is just a setback. It happens to everyone. Everyone goes through times where you know, you fail. It's like a willpower failure, but don't worry. Some people didn't get any message. Then the second part of this experiment, this study, they're asking people to assess certain candies and select which one are good or not. So they present a lot of candies and they have to eat lots of them because they are assessing, basically they have to decide which one are good or not. So they again eat candies. So which group do you think ate more candies? The one who was feeling guilty or the one who was not feeling guilty?
I think not so feeling guilty.
Yes, and that's true. That is true, and it's different from what we usually think, huh? But it's when we don't feel guilty, we don't beat ourselves up. We are more compassionate with ourselves, meaning that we can do better in the future. We are in a stronger position to do better in the future, and we are more connected to that future self, I was telling you before, who pays the consequences for what we're doing today.
Mariella, any tip, any message you want to give our audience?
As I was saying earlier, be kind to yourself, be compassionate, don't beat yourself up. If you see a child, if you're teaching a child how to ride a bicycle, you're not going to scold the child because he's not able yet. You're nice, huh? You will talk nicely and you will be sweet. So do it with yourself as well. One of my clients, you know what she did? She actually recorded a nice message to herself. So instead of calling somebody and asking, you know, asking for that reassurance, she was giving that to herself. She recorded a message, and every time she wanted to listen to that kind of positive dialogue, she was just playing it in her ears. That is an interesting thing. People can be very creative and do different things, but the idea is, yes, to be nice to yourself, not to beat yourself up, to talk to yourself like you were your best friend, and maybe be more connected with that future self, that other part who actually wants to do, you know, maybe losing weight, maybe eating healthier, maybe going for a run, maybe, you know, all the practice, meditation and yoga, all the practices which will actually improve our lifestyles if we introduce them in our life and if we stick to them.
Yeah, right. So thank you so much, Mariella. आपने हमारे साथ बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल्स दिए, बहुत एडवाइस हमें दी, वो अपने एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो हमारे साथ शेयर किए. थैंक यू. सो आपका अगर सबसे अच्छा दोस्त है वो सिर्फ आप ही हैं, तो इसलिए अपने आप को स्ट्रेस में नहीं लाइए. अगर आपको स्ट्रेस फील हो रहा है तो आप खुद से बात करिए, अपने आसपास जो लोग हैं, फैमिली है, उनसे बात करिए, बट स्ट्रेस मत लीजिए. तो ये थी हमारे साथ मैरियला ज़ैनोलेटी, जिनको 20 साल से ज़्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस है, सिस्टेमिक साइकोथेरेपिस्ट हैं, जिन्होंने हमारे साथ अपने एक्सपीरियंस जो है शेयर करे हैं. इसी के साथ इस खास पेशकश में इतना ही. हमें दीजिए इजाज़त. नमस्कार.